It is currently Friday, about 7 minutes after midnight. I am struggling, just overall, and I'm just gonna talk and see where this goes. So, Dad dropped Mom off at Grandma's house around 11, 12 o'clock, and then went to work. And I texted Mom, hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. She kept me updated throughout the day. The doctor and nurse came later in the day, around 3 o'clock. Um, she texted me that, and I was like, okay, thank you. And then the nurse is going to be coming every day from now on, including on Saturday and Sunday, which for a while there was nobody from hospice coming on Saturday and Sunday because we have an aide from the VA who comes Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So 8 hours, 9 hours a day. They get up to an hour for lunch. A lot of them don't take the full hour, um, especially because there's food in Grandma's house. Grandma lets them use the microwave and stuff. It's a whole thing. And really, taking care of my grandpa's not that hard right now. It really never has been. It's always just been change his diaper, make sure he's got some food, mm, make sure he's got, water, stuff like that. Make sure his diaper's changed. If he needs something, if he asks for something, do that. If he asks for medicine, the aide is not allowed to give him medicine. That's just a rule. It might even be a state law. But the aide is allowed to say, Grandma, he asked for medicine, obviously. Or to Grandma, hey, he asked for this, he asked for this, is it okay if I do that? Or you need to do that. Or, obviously, myself, Mom, and the rest of the family, we are allowed to give him medicine as long as it's within what it's prescribed. We can't give him extra medicine, and we can't withhold medicine from him unless he rejects the medication, which would be like not being able to swallow it, outright telling us he doesn't want the medicine. And so around 3:30, Mom sent me a picture of Grandpa with a Donald Duck hat. Yeah, Donald Duck hat on, which was kind of cool. He had a little bit of energy and stuff, and obviously with this whole situation happening, I've been doing a lot of research into death and dying and how death and dying happens and what you can expect. And one thing I heard that you can expect towards the end of life, potentially the day before or 1 to 2 days before, is something called terminal lucidity, which, from my very basic understanding, is something happens and you get all sorts of energy, you get all sorts of just a burst of energy, you do stuff, and it usually comes after you've been asleep for a while. And my basic understanding, based on how I know humans work and how animals work, is essentially you've been asleep for so long, and then the cortisol spikes in you to try to wake you up, and it spikes and it wakes you up real good, and you just have a really good day, and then you die afterwards because that's just things that happen, and it kind of sucks. I did not get to actually see Grandpa today because Mom actually got a ride from somebody else because I wasn't able to get home until about 11 o'clock. And there was other situations I had to deal with. And yeah, that happened. And those situations are dealt with. They're no big deal. But uh, I'm 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 glad that I was able to see him yesterday. Well, 2 days ago now. And more than likely I'll be at Grandma's house at some point today. Um, I have to give my brother a ride somewhere later tonight, but there's a pretty good chance I end up at Grandpa's house. And then obviously, if he passes today, my brother will not be getting a ride to the place he needs to go. He'll be dog sitting while Mom and I go to Grandma's house and take care of whatever business we need to take care of. Make sure that hospice is called, make sure that the funeral home's called, make sure that Grandpa's a Vietnam veteran, so we might have to call either the VA or the military. We're not 100% sure on that. but we have a guy who knows who we call them, call the rest of the family. We have my aunt who's up from Florida. My cousins are both around. We have my other aunt and uncle are around. Pretty much everybody's around right now. My grandpa's older brother is no young. My grandpa's brother is going to be called as well. One of his brothers. Unfortunately, his other brother passed away a while ago from a pretty severe case of pancreatic cancer that he never told us about, and he kept working. He actually passed out at work and died, and it was awful, and I hated it. I hated it for him because like it's just awful. And like we found out about it when Grandma got the call. Hey, Grandma and Grandpa got the call. Hey, your brother's in the hospital, and blah blah blah. Can you come? And they come and they say, hi, I'm here to see. And then the nurse comes out or the doctor comes out and says, I'm sorry. And Grandma's like, well, he ain't dead, but it turned out he was, and it sucked. The funeral happened and everything, and that was the second to last funeral I went to. The last funeral I went to was for Dad's mom back in 2017. Um, yeah, and Grandpa's deterioration like really, really started in 2017. Well, he got an Alzheimer's diagnosis about 15 to 17 years ago, sometime between 2008 and 2010, somewhere in there. We're not 100% sure when the official diagnosis was because we were told it might be this, and then we were told it definitely is this. And like everything was going okay. He was still talking. He was still doing stuff. He could still drive and everything, and then all that, and then he just sort of deteriorated and deteriorated, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And he would have to sit for the last couple years before 2024 when he went on hospice. He just sat in his chair, went to the kitchen, and then went to bed. There was a few in 2020 he was able to get up and use the bathroom. Same in 2021, but he was not able to do that after 2021. So he's been in a diaper for about 4 years now. After he had a really nasty fall, and it's been just so frustrating seeing this decline and knowing there's nothing I can do about it other than just sit there and watch, maybe help him once in a while, ask him if he wants ice cream, stuff like that. But it's just really frustrating when you know there's nothing you can do. Anyway, thanks for listening. Appreciate that.